credits for the spring to be fully enrolled. And how is this gonna affect your tuition? Your tuition for your final year is going to be based on 32 credits. 32 credits total. So if you take 6 credits in the summer, you'll have less tuition to pay for the subsequent semesters. Does that make sense? So it'll be spread out a little bit more. Exactly how some of you, I'm thinking your loans are gonna be for a year, so that shouldn't affect your loans, but if that really creates a financial hardship for somebody, let me know and we'll try to figure it out and work around it. But that's the way it's gonna work, is that you're gonna have to have your 3rd year or your 4th year, you're gonna be billed for 32 credits. If you take 6 or 8 early on, you'll take 6 or 8 fewer later on, so that your bill averages out. Make sense? Is that what everybody's understanding? Okay. So Great Plains, let me just tell you that it is kind of in the middle of nowhere. But that's good, because there are lots of large animals, there's lots of cattle production there, so that's good. Omaha is the largest big airport. There's also a little airport in Lincoln. When you want to start trying to figure out your transportation, look at both airports, the airport in Omaha and the airport in Lincoln, and try to figure out what's going to be your cheapest flight. Our guess is that Omaha, because it's a bigger airport, will have a cheaper flight, but we don't really care which airport you fly into. Dr. Robertson is going to be working with figuring out the transportation from the airport to the center. And it may be that we pick those up in Omaha and then we drive past Lincoln on the way to Clay Center. We're not exactly clear on that. But what are the details about what is covered with your tuition? What are we paying for? We, LIU, will pay a normal airfare, and I don't have a number there because airfares fluctuate, and heaven only knows how this Ukraine mess is going to impact it. But we will pay normal airfare from one of the New York airports to either Lincoln or Omaha, whichever one works out probably cheapest. So right now it's running around $350. I don't know, that's like, I don't know, playing the stock market. I have no idea what it'll be a little closer, but when it gets a little closer, we'll figure out the average fee that we will reimburse you for. They are providing you with housing. The housing will either be in dorms or in close by motels. Again, Dr. Robertson is going to go work out the exact details, so we are providing you with housing when you are there. In the contract with Lincoln, with Great Plains, they indicate that local transportation will be provided. So I am guessing that means that if you are in a motel, there'll be some way for you to get from the motel to the center. And if you need to go out from the center, they will provide you with transportation there as well. We don't have all of the details yet, but I think that's kind of like the overall scheme of things. I did get some questions, and I thought they were really, really good questions. So I'm hoping that this has given you enough time to plan. The question was, what do I do about my pets while I'm gone? If you are, we can't help you with your pets. That's going to be on you to try to either find a friend to take your pets for that period of time, or ship them home to mom and dad. That's what my kids do. I've got a whole herd at my house right now. So when my kids can't take their pets wherever they're going, they ship them to mom. Maybe your parents will be more indulgent. I can recommend a few of you that are great pet sitters. You're going to have to work that out on your own. That's not something that we can provide. As far as how we decide who goes when, I'm going to do two things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to provide a choice. So between now and the end of this month, or March 31st, If you would like to go in the summer, either the June or July date in the summer, send me an email, I'll start a list, okay? So that's the first thing we're gonna do, is I'm gonna start a list of preferences. Anybody that wants to go in the summer, get it out of the way, send me an email, I'll put you on the list. If at the end of the list we are oversubscribed, that everybody wants to go in June or July, then I'll have to run a lottery and see who gets to go in June and July, and it's just gonna be a random pull a name out of the hat lottery. If I don't get enough of you that want to go in June and July, I'm gonna have to run the lottery the opposite way, where I just kind of like randomly put the people that didn't volunteer in a hat and pull your names out. That lottery will occur on April Fool's Day. I thought that would be an appropriate. And I will notify you. If your name got pulled and you have to go in the summer when you didn't want to go, you'll have at least a month to try to find somebody to swap out with you. So this is a time when you're networking and all those good deeds that you did for your catnip groups are gonna pay off big time, okay? So if there is a problem, you just can't do it, see if you can find somebody to trade off with you, okay? Does that seems to me about as fair as I can be as far as working it out. All right, questions?
What's the weather like in the fall? Cold.
What's the weather like in the fall? I really think it's gonna, I mean, I was in Wisconsin for 5 years, and the falls were actually pretty low. I think you probably want to avoid tornado season, because I watched The Wizard of Oz too many times.
Hello.
But that's my only recollection. Julia, you had your hand up. Is food gonna be provided? I don't believe food is provided. I think there's gonna be, I think there will be nearby restaurants. I think there is going to be some sort of
In the middle of nowhere.
They have good food in Nebraska.
But where?
Financially, because I took like summer classes in undergrad and I couldn't use my financial aid for my summer classes. They wouldn't cover that. So how is that gonna work in this scenario?
Well, let's check with enrollment services. Let's call Acadia and see if your loans are gonna work for this summer. My understanding, and I have not looked at everybody's individual financial planning, but my understanding is most of the loans that you have will apply for the summer. But if that's a real problem, let's double check, okay?
I very much doubt it, because again, we are not the first school that is doing this. And being a professional program, I think that it would be accepted. The only thing that I got back from upper administration was the minimum